Smart 24, driving business.
Well, a few minutes to the top of the hour, exactly 26, and of course, still driving your business as we are winding up the show, wrapping up the show, as we're heading into our on ground discussions. But before we get there, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform, which already opened at 8:15 a.m. and will be running till 3:15 p.m. And this cycle is evident and repetitive. That is Monday to Friday, 8:15 till 3:15. And the markets, of course, running all the way into those days, except on the public holidays and the weekends when you can access these markets. But you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make quite some huge profits from them. And this will be something very important for you. You don't need any paperwork, and no paperwork needed. Wherever you are, all you need is your mobile phone and you dial *292#, and you'll be able to get those options. 15,000 minimum requirement for investment, but you can invest more than 15,000. Yes, and we make life much more easy and better for us. Zabo says, my money, my future. And also East Africa, do something new. Now heading into our on-ground discussions, and in relation to what we've been talking about earlier, talking about the drainage system of Kampala, you know, it has caused quite lots of repercussions, most especially towards the trading community. Currently, we have massive rains that are falling in there, and quite so many people have been affected. So what do we attribute this to? Planning. Haniffa, before we get into this discussion, Kampala's drainage system, personally, me, I would attribute the poor drainage system to the poor planning of the city. You know, and you know, sometimes you can do something for the sake of finishing it because you want to show accountability, but at the end of the day, I think it's much more important of how did you do it. You know, exactly. You put up the city, you put up the roads, but are they in the infrastructure? Yeah. But is it supposed to be where it is? Because whether you like it or not, nature always responds. Exactly. It always comes back to
nature. That's how nature teaches us lessons sometimes, because people come up with money. They build structures in wetlands.
Yeah, very true.
You mean you see these wetlands, when it rains, they also produce water, because they naturally have to produce water.
To produce water.
Remember, when you put up a structure without planning the drainage for the drainage, where the water is going to pass. Remember, you have neighbors. Do you even mind that there are people living around you? Yeah, I've seen some factories. I've seen some malls, like where Akamwesi is.
Yes, very true.
Yesterday, in yesterday's rains, yesterday night.
Yeah,
I passed there yesterday, and people's shops were in water.
Oh my goodness, that is.
People's houses around their Chevron or something.
Yes.
They were in water.
That's very sad.
The person who built somewhere there did not plan for where this water could pass when it rains. Yeah. So the water goes directly into people's
homes, businesses.
I don't know if they try to compensate those people, perhaps, and try to shift them from there, and perhaps they refuse. That is where they have grown up. That is where their businesses are. But I think the authority, the regulators, have to. They shouldn't just welcome money.
Money, yeah.
Yeah, because these investors come with money. But they should have proper planning of the drainage.
Absolutely true.
Exactly. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, when the water comes, it is the poor people.
The poor people that are being affected.
Exactly.
And you know what?
Who is affected in this situation. People even die in those.
They do. People lose lives, not just property.
People lose lives. Kids
People lose
die.
kids.
People get diseases like cholera
And now diseases,
and,
that's another.
Waterborne
malaria.
diseases. Exactly. It is very absurd for you to construct something without planning, for where the water is going to. Sit down with those people. You decide on what to do, because at the end of the day it is going to help them, and them and the city. Because when this water fails to go, it will always find its way.
Definitely, yeah. It will find its way out.
You can't stop nature from happening.
It should take cost the way it's supposed to.
On Twitter, people's houses, someone constructed in a wetland. It's apartments.
An apartment.
I don't know if you've seen that picture trending. It is trending.
I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, you check it out. Apartments, very nice looking, wood. But people's cars are in water, down. People are just looking at the cars.
And now that's repair, damage.
That is damage already. How much are you going to use to repair this car? The seats are already, they're all soaked in water. The engines are, and whatever. Because that is money.
Money, yeah.
That is costing money.
Very true.
So the drainage system of the city alone should not be taken lightly, because the city has wetlands itself.
But
these wetlands have been taken over with construction, with investors, people who have money. They have decided to cover it with soil, and then when the water comes, it will definitely find its way in people's house. And homes and houses.
Very true. And it's funny how we try to make artificial drainage systems, yet the swamps themselves they act as natural drainage systems. God put them there, natural in nature. And coming back to the point you talked about, people constructing houses, structures in wrong places. Charity, they say charity begins at home. Our very own city, the authorities. I don't know what kind of people plan for it. And because the authorities, they also know that, whether they are aware or not aware, but once something, because the authorities must be the appropriators for the third party, people coming in to construct, private investors. But once the authorities are disorganized in terms of planning, there is no way even the third party, or as long as somebody presents money and they can do this, they are going to, just give them that.
We just need someone to decide. Our president sometimes is soft. Our president is soft on his people. Ugandans are soft people. And so, since he's also Ugandan, he has developed this soft heart. You need people like the late Magufuli. He decides on, we are going to restructure the whole city. The whole city of what? Of Dodoma.
Dodoma.
It was put down like, we need to restructure the whole thing.
Yeah.
We just need someone with I don't care, we are just doing this for the betterment of everyone. It's going to benefit everyone. You don't care whether you built your big structure, your big mall, as long as it is affecting the proper functioning of the city.
The drainage is going to be hampered with, and
exactly. Just bring it down. You'll be compensated. But we are trying to bring sanity to our city. But when you go downtown Kampala, my dear,
those malls, you see actually machines are sucking water out of there.
Exactly. Now you see people working in those arcades. I don't think they even have some fresh. They have the fresh air when those these,
and that water stays there and it starts to smell.
Exactly. This is where people are working now. People who are in the
selling food.
Exactly, in the restaurants are selling food. The water comes there and just closes there.
So what are we eating?
Exactly. What are we eating? And Ugandans are very busy people. They don't care. For them, they will come and eat food. But at the end of the day, you're going to fall sick. It's going to cost you. You're going to spend the money in hospital. treating something which should have been avoided if it was planned, if we had that good planning of a city that is needed.
Well,
I think we just need some hard person who is just going to decide and who's going to be following up on accountability. Because money, Ugandans, I don't know when it comes to money. There's the way money tempts people.
No, we just have
and they just decide to do shoddy work.
It's just a slave mentality that is
money. People should look at money, but they forget at the end of the day, I need to account for this money. What have I done? I'm repairing this, but in 1 month or 6 months time, this thing is going to be, it is still show. Whether
it will showcase,
exactly,
it will.
Whether you did shoddy or the proper way,
and you know when
going to account for it.
And you know when it shows off, if let me say it's a structure and it shows off, and people vacate your structure, in the long run, it comes back to you.
It comes back to you.
I wish we think that way.
Exactly. I think we Ugandans should have that heart. It's like when the money. Other people who are who are planning for us
for the city.
Exactly, authorities. When that money comes, when you hear that word money
comes in, people's hearts switch.
You deep down think about what you're going to do before you do it, because you never know, it can land you. You see, even God is watching. God watches over. You know, there are some things that tempt us, but then they just put us in problems. Okay. People who took away iron sheets, they did not know that it's going to come back to haunt them.
To haunt them. Now it's haunting them.
Yes, to embarrass them. The whole ministers get money. You don't know how many huge allowances they get. They on top of their salaries.
Okay.
And then they are involved in those things, in embarrassment. Exactly. And it's meant for the poor, for the vulnerable, and then you decide to divert. I think our people in our authorities, when the money comes to do the planning of our cities,
should be channeled to where it was intended.
Exactly.
Not somebody having new plans when it's
and
they see the money.
And we look at it and they're like, yes, they did that.
Okay.
They did this. We appreciate this. Yeah.
Okay. Well, 6:14 minutes to the top of the hour, and we've come to the end of SMB. But of course, before further, let's get into the discussion with Kwebi Hamzamil, the spokesperson for Kampala Akeda's, that is KAFO. Yes, having an insight regarding how the flooding is affecting the business environment in Kampala. And of course, I'll be returning to wrap this up.
So much into a slumber right now due to the obvious reasons of flooding that has really taken over, and it has really affected the economy. As Kampala Metropolitan, absolutely, when you talk about the Metropolitan, we're looking at PG, we're looking at Wakiso, we're looking at Central itself. So Kampala Metropolitan goes as far as Entebbe, Wakiso, Mukono, and all that. And absolutely with Kampala that accommodates over 5 million people during daytime, and at night with around 2.1. Previously it was around 1.8. And surprisingly, people that permanently live in Kampala at night, day and night, these are it's a foreign community, the Chinese, the Indians, and all that. But we as the Ugandans, we find ourselves coming from the outskirts of Kampala. And therefore, the flooding has really affected us seriously. And I think government must really come out seriously to see that the fiscal planning of Kampala should really be given serious, kind of effort to see that we really have a harmonious ground that business can really prevail. Other than that, we are really losing, and the government absolutely is losing, because like CBD, if it closes for a day, I think we lose billions and billions of taxes. That's very true. And how has floods really affected us? One, first of all, the mental, psychological, it psychologically affects any other person. Because like waking up and then like you're driving up heading to work, or maybe you're going to board a taxi, it will affect you, and you feel like probably you're not in the mood of working. That's true. So like you are coming out, let's look at why say whereby like they really say water is life when you don't live in Bwaise. Hereby a Bwaise guy is coming out and he's boarding a taxi. He works in an arcade, for example, and then the whole place is flooded. Probably he may not work that day, or probably if he goes to work, he'll wait for some time, and time is money. If he goes to work, he'll go when he's really pissed up, and this will really affect even the business. So time, a mood, and then business performance of that day will really be not at par. So generally, if you look at Wakiso is having the worst roads, by the way, I would really say. Leave alone the highways that pass within Wakiso. You look at the Hoima Road, you look at the Mitiana Road, you look at the Entebbe Road, but like go inside where people are living, it's really floods, and surprisingly Wakiso has this other swamp, you know, which attaches itself to River Mayanja. You know, so it stretches and it really affects those, you know, feeder roads seriously. So business is not going on well, besides other, you know, factors like inflation, you know, like taxes and all that. So life is really hard, where floods are really not doing us good. We usually have some other arcades that really do flood. That's very true. That when there is some level of rain, we expect them to flood, and I think one, we advise people that are working in those arcades that really flood to probably always be very careful during rainy seasons, because you may get surprised if you're not on the other floor, upper floor. Mostly these ones living underground, you know, the ground floor, the basements and all that. They usually get the shock of their life when actually very early in the morning they find their merchandise are flooding, you know, like they are floating on water and all that, and that's really a very big kind of loss. So advice number one, rainy seasons, if you're working in an arcade that is flooding, probably always leave your stock probably in the higher shelves of your shop, probably. That's one. Two, we advise State Council, mostly the planning unit, to probably find a way how they can really manage drainage systems, because like the drainage systems have really done us more harm than good. There are certain roads that we really feel that the drainage system should always be well maintained. You see, Kampala, as in CBD, is in a ditch, is in a valley. Kampala itself, as a CBD, this was a swamp. We should really know the history of it. When you look at the old tax park, it was pure swamp. And no wonder that Old Tax Park has got 4 wells, 4 water wells. Like, you know, people around there, by the way, they still collect this water from these wells. So it really shows you that, you know, this place was swampy, and what would really make it so much of a swamp, it is in a valley. So look at Kololo, which is at the higher end. Look at Nakasero, which is at the higher end. Look at Chibuli, which is at the higher end. So therefore, if it rains, water just, you know, finds itself in this valley. You understand that? So it takes over the infrastructure development and really makes them so messy. So therefore, the developer, as KCCA planning unit, it should really be very conscious of like how they should really manage these floods, and getting the other sense of like Kampala CBD is really into a valley. So therefore the drainage systems should be of standard to avoid flooding most probably, because like some other times the developers themselves, as private developers developing the infrastructure, these structures, the arcades, the shopping malls, for them they'll develop and do their work as expected, but still the other bigger developer, as in KCCA, should also be should put it in mind, or probably channeling certain kind of water volumes that are likely to come down. I'm happy that the Nachivubo channel is really a little managed. You know, gone are the days when it used to flood so much, because it would really overflood and, you know, like, you know, go beyond its banks and then, you know, pour the other side. I think last year it's when I saw Nachivubo overflood. I I was still in town. It started raining at around like 8, and it stopped like at around midnight. It really flooded and, went beyond its banks and then, poured water the other side. But most times when it's not heavy rains, then it's really a little.
7 minutes to the top of the hour, and we've come to the end of S&B this morning on the 26th of April, and of course it's a Wednesday. Of course, grateful from all where we started from, all the way from the news recap, coming in straight to the different conversations related to business, and of course we always do that. That's what we do, your daily Kickstarter on this information. Like I always say, very vital and very important when it comes to decision making and implementation at the same time. And of course, don't forget the markets on the Zabo platform. Already open at 8. They open at 8:15 and they'll be closing at 3:15 p.m. and this is effective Monday to Friday, except on the weekends and the public holidays when these markets are not in operation. Now, the USSD code for you to access them is *292#, and you'll be available with quite lots of these options. Well, you can buy government bonds and securities for as little as 15,000, but you can invest more. That's just the minimum requirement that is required of you to invest into these markets, and life will be made much more easy as you'll be able to get a side income for yourself, a side hustle. Yeah, something, and life will be okay. Life will definitely be okay. Now, Zabo says, my money, my future. And All Tech East Africa says do something new. Well, of course, just 5 minutes. Don't forget on our social media handles. That is at Smart24 TV. That's on Twitter. Smart24 TV Official. That's on Facebook. And Smart24 TV Live on YouTube, where you will be able to get us at all parts of the country and the international community at large. Wherever you are, you could be in the United States of America, you can still check us out. That's on Smart24 TV Live. And then channel 394 on Go TV, and channel 372 on DSTV, and also we're on free to air. There is no excuse as why you shouldn't be watching this very time around. Straightforward to you, free to air. Catch us there as we deliver this information to you. Well, till tomorrow, coming up is Financial Markets with Anthony Sembali. For any person else that are interested in finding out what's happening in the stock market of Uganda, the Uganda Securities Exchange, more will be coming up in the program coming in next. Take care. Good morning.
Up next on Smart24 TV.